Well, there you go. There's those tissue test samples I told you we was gonna do. Hey, this is part number 2 where we're testing the Milo fertilizer against the Academy fertilizer. Now keep in mind, we're not testing to be able to down any product. We're simply testing so that I know for my own personal self which one actually provides more value to the turf. So let's go in the house and we're gonna put the soil test together and roll with it. All right, so here's the first soil test I picked up from one of the big box stores, and you're supposed to fill this, fill it up with dirt to the first line. This is the one for pH, and it says to carefully pull apart this capsule. Oh Lord, this can't be good. Now right off the bat, this is a lot of stinking trouble just to do a daggone soil test. The cap won't even pull apart. There it goes. Come on. All right. So there we go. You put whatever that is down in there, like so. Then you fill it up to the 4th line with water. Like so. Put the cap back on it and you vigorously shake it. Like so. Now, what we have to do is let this settle out overnight. So I'm gonna set this to the side. And now this is supposed to represent the lime and then the NP and K. And then here is the test water. You put 1 part dirt, 5 part water, shake it up real good. And you let this settle out, the sediment filter back down to the bottom. And then you extract the water from the clearer part and put it in each tube and put the correct color with the tube, and then you hold it up to this chart, and it tells you whether you're high, medium, low, or very low. Right off the bat, we'll compare this measurement to the real deal soil test, but right off the bat, do not like this at all. It's just a heck of a lot of trouble just to get a soil test to save 15 bucks. All right, our next actual soil test here is the Soil Savvy brand. And again, first time I've ever done this, so, that's nice. That's actually real nice. Comes with a prepaid envelope. And I'm guessing you use that to scoop out the dirt, but we're gonna use the core over here that we took. All right, so I've taken the little sample barcode off and put it here. And according to the directions, you take your dirt, put it down in here, cup full, and you tighten it back down, and you're good to go. So just tighten it good so it doesn't leak. All right, seems easy enough. But again, I'm only sampling one very teeny tiny portion of the yard. So right off the bat, I've kind of got an issue with that. So we'll fill out this paperwork and we'll note this as Academy. Here's the second one for the Milo. Now keep in mind, I've got to go and buy. I'll buy 2 more of these because we want to test before and after the fertilizer application. And I also got something really cool we're gonna do. It's a plant tissue test. So what is the difference? So basically it's like this. When you go out and you throw that fertilizer down, whether it be Academy fertilizer, Milo, Let's Go, whatever, you're offering the plant a food, okay? You're putting it out there for the plant to take it up. Well, a soil test would kind of give you readings on what of that is in the dirt. A plant tissue test is going to tell you more of how effectively that the actual plant or the turf grass is actually utilizing what you're putting down. So it's almost in a way like it tells you how much of the fertilizer is actually absorbed into the root and put in the plant so that it's able to be used. We're gonna do all this for both Academy and Milo before and after, and see, and we're just gonna compare all the data and see what's going on. So we've settled out pretty good right here on this one, and we're gonna hold that up right here so you can see it. And I'm gonna say I'm more on the lines of this bar right here, which is a 6.0 acid. Now, if you remember, our mechanical and digital test meter read a 7.0 and a 6.8, so that's pretty contradictory. That's an entire point, which that's a big deal. You know, if you're off a point, that's quite a bit. All right, so I think we're good to go. I've got to let this one, the sediment, settle out overnight before I can test the NPK in that one. We've got our 2 soil savvy tests here, one for Academy side, one for Milo side. We got one Milo side here, one Academy side here. And then I can't do my plant tissue analysis yet simply because this needs to be overnighted, okay? And because the fresher the sample, the better the reading they can give us. So I'm gonna go out and do this in the morning and put this in the bag and send it off. And I'll overnight that one and send this regular mail just to compare how long it takes to get the spectrum analytic back and the soil savvy back. Just see the time frame, how long it takes. Now, these are the guys we use, Spectrum Analytic. They're up there in Ohio. And they typically don't do a lot of DIY homeowner type soil tests or soil tests for them. They're more on the commercial side of things, but I've worked it out with them. If you want to take a soil test, you can get one taken with him, and I'll go in here and show you on the iMac how you go through that procedure. But last thing, we've got the Academy Fert, the springtime Fert. We've got some Milo right here. We've also got the GCI. This is our custom blended Fert we use here locally. And it just so happens Spectrum can test the analysis in these 3. So we're gonna get a test back on what is actually in these fertilizers. So again, I'm going into this blind. I've never done this before, so I may get the same shock you get. But anyway, so we got all our testing set up, notes are taken. This is all before the applications. These soil tests were taken before we applied the product. We're gonna give it about, let's give it about 3 weeks. Today is the 25th. So about the second week of April, maybe. Hopefully by then we've gotten some good rainfall and it has had time to wash this in the ground and become active in the plant. And then we'll take another soil test and another plant tissue test and send them off. And we'll just see which one, I'm not gonna say works best. We'll simply compare the two. We'll leave it at that. So if you want to do a soil test with these guys, it's spectrumanalytic.com. You need to do the sign up, which is basically kind of create an account. I actually have to just log in here. And once you get logged in, you go to services, supplies. And once you do that, up here, right above here, you put your send supplies to, put your name, address, all that. And here's your sample bag right here. Of course, you probably only need one if you're gonna do your yard. And plus you can see the probe right here is the one I bought. This 21-inch probe is $50. So I went on and picked one of those up. No, actually, excuse me, I'm sorry. I got the, which one did I get? No, I think I did get the 21-inch. It's either 19 or the 21-inch, one of the two. One's 50 and one's 56. So you can grab one of those if you need one. If you already have one, that's great. Here's how you do this. E-submit, start a new submission. And very simple, right here in the PO, you're gonna type in GCI Academy. Now this soil test costs $30, okay? GCI Academy. The soil test costs $30. I've worked out a deal for them that you can get it for $1 off. I know that's not a major cost savings, but if you put that in the PO number, you'll get $1 off. So that's all the deal I could work out with them. Sorry if that's not good. You'll go through and select turf and ornamental soil. Here's where you do your number of samples. If you want to do 2 or 3 different samples, and remember it's $29 per sample. Of course, we only want to do one for the whole yard. And here's where you put in your account name and everything. And down here, you would fill out, let's use this for an example right here. You can see, here's where the sample identification number, I used Milo. And so down here, I would simply type in Milo right there. You're gonna choose T2. That'll give you everything you need to know, your NPK, pH, all that kind of thing, and micros. Down here, if you're unsure what this test code is, for tall fescue, it's 314. We've done a ton of these things. You see it's saved in there. But if you need to have a different grass, whoops, I gotta delete that out. If you have a different grass, you're going to hit this little question mark and boom, there you go. Look at all those different grasses or all those different plants. And you can actually, like right here, you can actually start typing in Bermuda. And look at here, it's got all the different common Bermuda, any type you want, athletic field Bermuda, whatever. And you go through there and pick out your turf grass. And then it does the same thing for like, let's put Kentucky bluegrass turf. Then it's got it, for plants, any type of plant you're wanting or whatever. So we'll put in 314 here just because I have fescue. All right, so now that I've got the form filled out, I'm gonna go right here to save and return to submission list. I'm gonna do that. It's gonna kick you over to a new screen. All right, so once I get over to this page, I'm gonna click the one that pertains to. This is the one I'm doing the example for, so I'm gonna click this box right here. I'm gonna simply go right here to paperwork, hit submit, And bingo. There's my test right there. And you'll take this and put it in the box with your test. Now, here's in the top right-hand corner of the website. That's where you can mail it to. Now, this is a big deal. I need you to be focused right here, because this was one of the I'm not going to call it a drawback, but something you have to do in order for this to happen. You have to mail them a check with your soil sample. Make it out for 29 bucks. That's if you use that GCI Academy and the PO. If not, you make it for 30 bucks either way. And your turnaround time is going to be 1 to 2 days. They're going to get it back to you extremely fast. And then once you get it, you just kind of hang on to it and wait for the video. I'll make a video on how to read the soil test, or how I read the soil test. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Part number 3. Now, it's going to be about a good 3 to 4 weeks before we do the third part of this video, simply because that fertilizer has to be watered in the ground a couple of times. It takes a little time for the plant to take it up. It takes a little time for it to get in the ground and that kind of thing. Remember, the phosphorus and potash takes way longer to actually, for lack of better words, get worked in the soil. I don't get too technical with all those fancy words and stuff, but you know what I mean. Nitrogen is going to be free flowing, almost kind of like if you have a tub full of water and you pull the plug on it, whew, there it goes. Nitrogen in the ground works about the same way. So we'll pick up on the nitrogen readings pretty quick. The phosphorus and the potassium might be a little bit. So we'll do a soil test again in the next 2 or 3 months from today, and we'll test all this again to get a good accurate reading. So, matter of fact, let's just do it once a month for the next 3 months. So and that way we'll compare notes with a video. When all this is said and done, we'll make one last video on it for this year, and you can come to your conclusion and I'll come to my conclusion, and we'll see what happens. So hey, like, subscribe, and get your dirt right.